Today our point of discussion is human development. That is a very important topic for UPSC. As you know, in previous year, every year in mains as well as in preliminary, they are asking repeatedly questions from the topic the human development. From the topic human development. What are the area of discussion of human development? What is the meaning of human development, concept given by whom? After then index of human development, then millennium development goals, different human development index for Indian economy, etc. I will discuss here. First, I define what is the meaning of human development. When you define what is the meaning of human development, prior to define the meaning of development, you should know who gave the concept of human development. That is given by Dr. or Professor Theodore W. Schultz. The concept of human development given by Professor Theodore W. Schultz in 1960s. When Dr. Professor Theodore W. Schultz is speaking in American Association in 1960, in his presidential lecture, he given the concept of human development. After then, the concept of human development were defined by him as well as by other economists. Generally, what we can say about the meaning of human development, in actual, it is a process. Human development is a process by which we increase the human capabilities either through educating them, skilling them formally or informally. That is the meaning of human development. Later on, as you know, United Nations Development Program in its United Nations Development Program, United Nations Development Program, the first human development report of UNDP HDR, that is Human Development Report, was published in 1990. In its first human development report in UNDP first HDR, which was published in 1990 under the guidance of Dr. Mehboob ul Haq, you know the name of this economist. He is the Pakistani economist. He gives the three concept or three index of human development after defining the concept of human development. That was respectively Human Development Index, Human Development Index, Gender Development Index, Gender Development Index, and third one is Human Poverty Index, Human Poverty Index. First, I will discuss Human Development Index. After then, what is the methodology of calculation of Human Development Index? Students, as you can see in previous years, UPSC asked what is the methods by which we can calculate the Human Development Index for India and other country. Please explain it. That kinds of questions they are asking. If I go through this point, what is the Human Development Index or HDI? In actual, HDI is a composite index index of three achievements in human life, the three achievements in human life, and these three achievements are respectively, number first is longevity and healthy life, longevity and a healthy life, which is measured by life expectancy at birth, life expectancy at birth. As you know, what is the meaning of life expectancy? Very simple word. Average or mean years of expectations of life at the time of birth. For example, according to UNDP Human Development Report 2019, in 2018, India's life expectancy was 70.7 years. Life expectancy in case of India, according to UNDP HDR 2019, the life expectancy for the year 2018 was 70.7 year in case of India. But according to latest human development report of UNDP, that is 2021-22, the life expectancy of India in 2021 was how much? That is 22, was only, that is 67.3 year. 67.3 years. Some extent that is decreasing because of which one? That is COVID-19. Due to increasing death in COVID-19, life expectancy suddenly decreased in India. Now you are clear. First variable, that is life expectancy, measured by longevity and healthy life, is measured by life expectancy at the time of birth. The second variable, that is knowledge. The second index of HDI, knowledge, is measured by two index, that is adult literacy ratio. It was given 2/3 weight in the calculation of this human development index, and second variable was the gross enrollment ratio. Gross enrollment ratio. This GCR measured at the primary level, middle level, and that is the higher level education, how many students are coming to be enrolled themselves, and it was given 1/3 ways for the measurement of knowledge. Third variable, living standard, decent living standard. Decent living standard, which was measured priorly in 1990 by the per capita GDP in term of US dollar purchasing power parity. What is the meaning of US dollar purchasing power parity and what is the meaning of per capita GDP? If you divide the particular country GDP by the population, you can derive per capita GDP. GDP is simple in words: total value of final goods and services which is produced within the domestic territory of a country during a financial year. And when we say purchasing power parity, means how much our GDP can purchase in international market in term of dollar. That is known as US dollar purchasing power parity of per capita GDP. Now point is clear. This index is the composite of these three achievements in the human life. First, longevity and healthy life. Second is knowledge. Third is decent living standard, which were respectively measured by different three variables, as you know I explain here. If I give you now the statistics, according to Human Development Report 2019, according to UNDP Human Development Report 2019, India's HDI value was 0.645 and India was ranked 131 out of 189 countries. According to latest Human Development Report 2021-22, the HDI value for India for this year was 0.633 and India's rank was 132 out of 191 countries in global economy. That kinds of points is important for understanding your status in human development report. For further better analysis, first you know how we can calculate the value of HDI. After then I will discuss why some economists began to criticize the HDI. After then it were reformed by Human Development Report 2010 by including some new variables. What they are, I will discuss later. First you know how we can calculate the value of this HDI. You can use a simple formula for the calculation of HDI as it was asking by UPSC in your mains examinations in, as I think in 2020 or 21 UPSC mains examinations. The value of index, you can derive the value of index by using the following formula, that is actual value minus minimum value upon actual value minus maximum value. Now think about this point. What the meaning? Suppose you are calculating the value of index of life expectancy. You will put here India's actual value. Say for 2018, India's actual life expectancy was 70.7 years. In case of minimum value, go through the index of 191 countries which is given by United Nations Development Program, and after that you will find out the list country which have the minimum life expectancy. Suppose in case of Sierra Leone it was 30 years, then 70.70. Some country like Norway have the maximum life expectancy, say 98 years. Then you can derive the value, that is 40.7 upon, you can derive this 70, that is 28 or 27.1. After calculating, you will derive the value of life expectancy index value. Similarly, you will calculate the value of knowledge, value of living standard. After calculating the value of knowledge, living standard, life expectancy, that is life expectancy plus knowledge index value plus living standard, you will divide by 3. That is the simple arithmetic mean used by you for the calculation of value of HDI. In this way you can calculate the value of HDI very easily, which is always in between 0 to 1. 0 to 1. Further you can understand by the Human Development Report 2009 and 2005 also. All the nations were categorized on the basis of their HDI value in 3 categories. That is low HDI country whose value was in between 0 to 0.499, and those countries were defined under the middle HDI country whose value was in between 0.550 to 0.799, and all those countries whose value was 0.8 to 1.0, they were defined as high HDI country. That categorization were used by United Nations Development Project since 2009 onward. You can see that kinds of classification, as I previously given you data of index of India HDI, it was 0.633 for the year 2021-22, means we were categorizing in middle HDI countries, and similarly in 2018 according to Human Development Report 2019 it was 0.645. It means somewhere our HDI index is consistently improved, and when it will reach near to 1, then we will categorize in high HDI countries. As you can see, government policies are responsible for that kinds of development of human development. I will later discuss, prior I will discuss the three different index which were given by Dr. Mehboob Haq. Second index, that is known as Gender Development Index. Gender Development Index. In actual, this Gender Development Index is the composite index of three achievements in women life. This represents the three achievements in women life, that is three achievements, namely long and healthy life of women, long and healthy life of women, which is measured by what? Life expectancy at birth of women. Life expectancy of women at birth. Similarly, the second, knowledge of the women. Knowledge of the women is measured by three different index, namely that is women adult literacy ratio. Number first is women adult literacy ratio. It is measured by whom? It is measured by 2/3 weight. And second one is gross enrollment ratio of women at primary level, secondary level and higher level, and it was given 1/3 weight. It was given 1/3 weight. Again, the living standard of women, that is first, that is second, and third composite variable of GDI is the living and decent living standard. Decent living standard of women, that is measured by per capita GDP in term of US dollar purchasing power parity of the women. In that way, it is similar to the HDI, but what is the difference? In HDI, we are collectively taking both male and female, but in GDI, we are taking only what? That is women. And we are neglecting the male for the calculation of GDI. What is the utility of GDI? As you know, by the help of GDI and HDI, we can understand the difference in the development or human development on the basis of sex. If the GDI is equal to HDI, you can say if our GDI is equal to HDI, it means there is no inequality on the basis of gender, or you can say gender equality. Gender equality existing in the country. For example, some developed country like Norway, United Nations, USA, Germany, even Vietnam, these are the certain, even this China, these are the certain countries which are near to gender equality. But some other country where the value of HDI is higher than GDI, it means there is the gender inequality. Gender inequality exists in the country, and these countries are, for example, like India, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, etc. These countries show some extent the gender inequality. Now the question arises, why the gender inequality existing in the country? It may be because of cultural prejudice. In case of India, priorly if you go back during the Vedic period, there is no gender inequality. Women are equally participate in political organizations like Sabha, Samiti, Vidat. There is no discriminations, but after the invading by Muslims community like Muhammad bin Qasim 712 onward, there is the discriminations against the women, and after then, as you can see recently, the data given UNDP, India's gender development index value is near about 0.88, and we are included in the group of 5 countries on the basis of GDI. It means somewhere after this independence, government of India focusing on women development, empowering them by different policies. It may be economic policies, political participations of the women. They are participating in parliament, in state legislative assembly. They are equally participating in different kinds of civil services exam, etc. And government are protecting by them by different kinds of reservations policies also. As you know, women bill also passed by the government recently, triple talaq, etc. Multiple policies are there. Somewhere we are also going to change the mindset of the society. As you know, cultural prejudice is responsible that kinds of discriminations of the women. Somewhere feminist movement also uplifting the women apart from government policies, and ultimate result is what? Our country is also going to be included in the recent in coming days, or you can say up to the target of government of India developed nation by 2047, then we will also be the part of that kinds of gender equality country. I discussed the 2 points. What is the GDI? What is the HDI? As you know, after 1990 onward, the HDI as well as GDI were criticized by the economists. As you know, in HDI there are the 3 index, namely for the longevity and healthy life. We use life expectancy at birth, and knowledge, which I discussed so that you can understand the reform done by Human Development Report. Human Development Report 2010 refined the HDR. Refined the Human Development Index. How they are refined it? HDI. In case of knowledge, primarily we are using 2 variables, that is adult literacy ratio given 2/3 weight and gross enrollment ratio given by 1/3 weight. Adult literacy ratio, gross enrollment ratio were respectively given by 2/3 weight, 1/3 weight, and similarly living standard or decent living standard, it was measured by per capita GDP in term of US dollar purchasing power parity. In case of GDI, we also using the same variables, say longevity and healthy life, which is measured by life expectancy LE at birth, of women. Everywhere we are using the word women because that is exclusively for the women. Knowledge of women measured by adult women literacy ratio given by 2/3 weight and gross enrollment ratio of women, which is measured by 1/3 weight. Third is decent living standard, which is also measured by per capita GDP of women in term of US dollar purchasing power parity. Human Development Report 2010, in variable knowledge, they use the 2 new variables, that is mean years of schooling. And it was giving similarly 2/3 weight, and second was expected years of schooling. years of schooling respectively given 1 by third weight, and these two new index were used in place of adult literacy ratio, mean years of schooling, gross enrollment ratio, expected years of schooling, and for the measurement of this, that is longevity, that is decent living standard. It is measured by per capita gross national income rather than GDP in term of US dollar purchasing power parity. Why gross national income? As you know, in present, out of our total national income, 40% contributed by the trade. It means somewhere international trade also determining the national income, which is also changing the life of the society. Means we can't neglect the role of international trade in the determination of human development in a particular country. That is why we are taking what? That is gross national income rather than GDP, and we are reform our HDR 2000 reform in both GDI as well HDI for using these three new index. In place of adult women literacy ratio, we will use mean years of schooling of women by 2/3 weight. In place of gross enrollment ratio of women, we are using expected years of schooling of women 1 by third weight. And in place of per capita GDP of women, we are using per capita GNI of women in term of US dollar purchasing power parity. In this way, you can understand the two concept and their modification by the Human Development Report 2010. Now I come on the third concept which were given by Dr. Mehbulullah, that is Human Poverty Index, HPI, Human Poverty Index. Human Poverty Index was given by Dr. Mehbulullah, and it measures the three deprivation. It is the composite index of three deprivation in human life. Three deprivation in human life. What kinds of deprivations they are? That is deprivation of longevity and healthy life, deprivation of longevity and healthy life, which is measured by which one? Percentage of persons who die, expected to be die before the 40 years. That is the percentage of people who expected to be die before 40 years. Second, the knowledge deprivation. Knowledge deprivation. This deprivation include the percentage of adult illiterates. And third deprivation, that is the deprivation of decent living standard. Third, that is the deprivation of decent living standard. It is measured by three deprivation, that is lack of health facilities, lack of safe drinking water, health facilities, safe drinking water, and third deprivation, that is lack of pakka house. In this way, there are the 5 variables which are going to measure the deprivation in human life. You can understand these three concepts given by Dr. Mehbulul Haq. After then, the other human development report giving the different index. For example, that new index were given by Human Development Report HDR 1995, that was GEM, Gender Empowerment Index. Gender Empowerment Index. This index is the composite of three achievements of women life, that is social participation and decision making power of the women at the social ground, that is social participation and decision making of the women means at the time of marriage, family members, family matters, etc., women will equally participate. That is the social participation and decision making of the women at social ground. Second, economic participation, decision making and power over economic resources. That is the second issue of which one? Gender empowerment measure. Third one is political participation. Political participation means women will equally participate in parliament, state legislative assemblies, etc., local bodies, village level, district level, panchayat institute, nagar nigam, etc. They are equally participate and they also taking the decision at political level. That kinds of three achievements composite index is known as gender empowerment measure. You know, student, in UPSC means they are asking that kinds of questions in round about 2017 or 16. They asked these questions: what is the difference between GDI and GEM? Which one is the best measure of women development? Definitely, if you go through and compare it with GDI, Gender Development Index, then definitely GEM is more powerful index for the measuring of women development in comparison to Gender Development Index. Yet these two different index have the different composite variable for the calculations of the women development, but in comparison to life expectancy, knowledge, longevity and healthy life, and that is knowledge and living standard, that kinds of variables are more important for the measuring of empowerment of the women. That is why you will say definitely GEM is the better index for the measurement of human development. Further, there are other index like multilateral poverty index MPI by the Human Development Report HDR 2010, multi-dimensional poverty index MPI also introduced, that is multi-dimensional poverty index. In actual, this is the composite index of three main deprivation. After then, these three deprivations are categorized in 10 deprivation. And recently, as you know, the poverty ratios in India by giving Niti Aayog on the basis of multilateral poverty index. Other index similarly inequality HDI index by adjusting the inequalities in three variables, that is knowledge, that is life expectancy and that is living standard. We can develop this inequality HDI index. In this way, these different index given by human development for the different years. After then, you know, United Nations Development Project pass is Millennium Development Goal. Millennium Development Goal for the next 15 years, and in the year 2000, next 15 year in the year 2000, and these are the major some target like all of the hunger ratio at the global level, poverty ratio at the global level, means we have to reduce the 50% population depends on safe drinking water, not depend on safe drinking water, eliminations of different dangerous disease like HIV, AIDS, malaria, etc. That kinds of the goals were determined by the UNDP for the year 2015, but later on in 2015 December we determined post millennium development goals, sustainable development goal. These are 17 in number, which we have to be achieved by the year 2030, all the member nations, and India decided to achieve these targets for the year 2025. Prior to UNDP or United Nations Development Program targets, we achieve these targets by the 2025. Why we are lacking behind? Now the question arises, why we are lacking behind in human development despite our expenditure on health and education is increasing consistently. A student, the human development index, HDI, GDI, or you can say recently a gender inequality index is also, which is the deprivation of three achievements in women life, which is measured by reproductive health, reproductive health of the women, and that is reproductive health, living standard, etc. There are the three index in the GI, and other index are there. But the question arises, why we are lacking in global economy till now? We are ranking 132 out of 191 countries. It is because of lack of required expenditure for health, education, sanitation. If I quote you for the recent year 2020, my topic, I will completely discuss this topic. This is the picture how we are going to study. According to our different commissions in case of education, that is Secondary Education Commission, that is Kothari Commission, etc. They suggested to the government that our education expenditure should be 6% of GDP. Similarly, health expenditure, it should also be 6% of GDP. It means collective expenditure on health and education should be 12%, 12% of GDP. But in actual till 2022-23, it was only 7.2% of GDP. You can yourself analyze what are the fundamental factors responsible for lacking behind India in human development index. That kinds of questions you can, and that kinds of topic you can do easily in this way in our classes. Thank you student for understanding today. I will proceed this lecture tomorrow. तो जी मैडम। हाँ मैडम, मैं आऊँगा इवनिंग में आऊँगा, क्लास में कोचिंग में हूँ, तभी लगूंगा। अच्छा, 9th क्लास का 10 years आता ही नहीं है। चलो मैं ले लूंगा फिर आते हुए 50 रुपये जो जमा किया था। ठीक है। करता 40 मिनट्स का बना लेते हैं।